When did you first meet Reince Priebus?
I met Reince Priebus probably a week after he got elected. I had been asked by some individuals who were helping him transition from Wisconsin state chairman to RNC state chairman after his election to the chairmanship, and had asked if I would come in and sit down with him and meet, and if I had an interest. I said I would, and I think we pretty much hit it off day one in the interview.
What is his...
By the way, you want to talk about somebody else who works nonstop? Reince Priebus, between Reince Priebus and Donald Trump, they wear you out. They both just are, going 100 miles an hour, 23 hours a day.
Well, that was my question, is how will he structure the White House, and how will he control the flow of information, the decision-making process?
When you look at Reince's job over the last 6 years at the RNC, he has been unequivocally, hands down, the most effective RNC chairman, not just in modern history, but I would argue throughout history. Understands, and you're talking about running an organization with thousands of people during election season, right? Making sure they get paid, making sure they raise the money, making sure the briefing gets done, understanding the various priorities, balancing the campaigns, members of Congress, the constituencies. This is what he's been doing for 6 years, balancing interests, setting priorities, getting things done. And despite anyone's political background or philosophy, you have to give Reince credit for the way he ran that RNC. He found it in huge debt, $25 million in debt. He put a plan together, got the money raised, got out, and then implemented by far the best data, digital, and ground game operation any party's ever seen. He's focused, committed, and hardworking.
I don't have to tell you that during the campaign, most people predicted that Hillary Clinton was going to win.
They did.
Was there a moment for you that you said Donald Trump is going to beat her?
Yeah, election night.
But not before that.
Well, look, after 2012, when we thought we were going to win and then we lost, you start to recoil a little and don't want to get ahead of you. You want to go out every day and keep working. I knew we had a path to win. I knew he had a movement. You saw those rallies. You saw people coming out. And you wanted it so bad, but you were just worried. It's almost like a fear. You don't want to expose yourself too much after you've sort of tried and not made it in 2012. But on election night, when you saw those counties turning that had gone for Obama, one after another, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, Virginia, places that Obama had carried 53, 54%, and they were going Trump. You knew it was real, and it was going to be big.
What was it like here in New York for you?
Surreal. I mean, it was honestly, there's no other way to describe it except to say surreal. You're standing in the room with the next president and the vice president of the United States, watching them learn that they have just become the next president and vice president of the United States. It was a fairly intimate setting. I mean, it was here in we call our war room. A bunch of the campaign staff were around, but by all means, it was still a very small core group. And to watch that moment happen is something that, few people in history can say they did.
Do you think he thought he was going to win?
Yes. Absolutely. He knew, look, Donald Trump doesn't do things that he doesn't think he can be successful in. That's just not who he is. It's not in his DNA. If he makes a business deal, if he gets on the phone to negotiate something, if he runs for president of the United States, he does it with 100% focus on winning. He does nothing short of that. And so when he talks about bringing jobs home or creating economic growth, or driving costs down, he's going to make it happen. Come hell or high water, he gets the job done.
What kind of president do you think he will be?
Effective, successful. I mean, you look at what he did with Carrier, with Lockheed, with Boeing. He picked up the phone, made sure the Carrier got a deal struck that would allow them to keep the jobs home. He talked about the excessive cost of both the F-35 and the next generation of Air Force One. In both cases, working directly with the CEOs, got those costs down. He's a guy that picks up the phone, asks for a meeting, does what it takes to get things done. And I think that and again, you saw that with the Sprint deal. He has implemented or laid out a philosophy that a lot of job creators are now saying, I want to grow more jobs in America, I want to bring those jobs back, I want to manufacture more. But he has inspired a lot of people from around the country and around the globe to want to be part of this American renewal.
As you well know, there are a lot of critics out there, a lot of naysayers.
I've heard.
A lot of conventional wisdom. Do you pay attention to it all?
Sure. I think to be effective, you have to understand what people are thinking, sometimes that helps guide you. Sometimes you can tweak a message because, or an act, because maybe you haven't fully appreciated what everyone else is hearing. I think that if you shut off the voices to the right, to the left, down the middle, you can't be as effective. I think, and again, when you're getting back to the president-elect for a second, I think you've seen through the various meetings that he's had with individuals, he's met with people that were adamantly opposed to him, people who have run against him, but he wants the best and brightest people around him. He wants ideas and opinions and thoughts that are going to help implement his agenda and move the country forward.
Hillary Clinton, as you know, said that she wishes him best and that he will be a successful president for, as she emphasized, all Americans.
Yes.
How does he do that?
I think he demonstrates it, continues to demonstrate it through his actions, not just his words, and he's done both. He talked about it starting on election night at 2:50 a.m., where he talked about wanting to unite this country and be a president for those who voted for him and those who didn't. And I think he continues to show that he's going to fight for this country, he's going to fight for jobs, he's going to fight to unite the country and make us proud of his job as president, proud to be American. Not that we aren't already, but just I think he wants to inspire people to go out and do what they can to serve this nation and make it better. You look at some of the people that are joining this cabinet, unbelievably successful, and stepping aside from a successful career or a successful business because they want to be part of this movement and part of making this country even greater.
Have you had a chance to talk to your high school teacher, your mentor?
I have, quite often.
And what has he told you, and what have you told him?
I've told him a couple times, I don't think I'd be here without your inspiration. I think it's important to thank the folks that helped got you where you are, and how much I've appreciated his support over the years, because it's not just now, tonight. I mean, he's someone that I've been able to check in with over the years and has provided continued counsel and support, as my entire family have, frankly. But, he'll constantly say, I saw you on this, or I read this passage, I think this is really good, and sometimes offers ideas and suggestions, but more importantly, I think offers prayers and support.
When you're not doing politics, when you're not working, what does Sean Spicer like to do?
When's that? I don't know when that time is. As I mentioned, we have 2 young kids. As much time as I can spend with them, my wife, I do. Most of the time it's picking up things and cleaning up things that I may have left on the way to New York, and trying to pitch in and support my wife. She's carrying the lion's share of this, and time with the kids is obviously the most crucial piece of this.
And finally, we are coming to you from Trump Tower, and this backdrop is iconic during the campaign. Donald Trump spent a lot of time at this location.
And he went down those escalators right behind us to announce.
What do you think the first 100 days will look like?
Busy. He is going to hit the ground running. People ask about the first 100 days. I think the first 100 hours are going to be, and frankly, the first afternoon. He's going to get sworn in at 12:01. I think once he gets back to the White House and settles into the Oval Office, it's going to be guns a-blazing right out of the gate. He wants to continue to fulfill that pledge that change is coming on day one, and I think you're going to see a series of actions on day one to show the American people that times have changed, business as usual is over, change is here.
And for you, excited, nervous, a little bit of both?
A little bit of both, a lot of both. It's humbling, and as I mentioned at the outset, it truly is an honor when you think of what an opportunity this is, but you're representing the American people. I grew up in a small state, in a small town, and the idea that you have a position like this is something I could have never dreamed of. And so that's an awesome responsibility, but it is exciting, but there's a little bit of nervousness out there because I want to represent the president-elect to the best of my ability, make him proud, that my team and I do on his behalf, and I want the American people to be proud of this president and the successes that he's going to have.
Sean Spicer, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Steve.